Hi everyone, welcome back for another Beyblade Burst Sparking or Super King unboxing. In our previous upload, we opened up Super Hyperion, and for this one we're going to be having a look at his counterpart, King Helios. So there he is on the front, and here is his owner. So that's the brother of Hyuga, the owner of Super Hyperion. And his name is Haikyuu, which is pretty interesting because there's another protagonist from one of the metal sagas of Beyblade whose name is Haikyuu as well. And he also goes with the whole blue theme and has blue hair. But I don't know whether that had any influence on the color choice for this character, or whether they just went with blue because it's the obvious opposite color of red. Which is the color choice for his brother. Anyway, let's get over to the back of our packaging. So new packaging, by the way, and I kind of like it. So we get this bit of a lip on it there, which is one of the bits that I do like. And above that lip, we've got an image of King Helios battling our erased Diablo-Zn, bursting him. And then we've got a picture of the two brothers together there, and on that lip there is a bit of a stat which I unfortunately cannot decipher, and then another image of the top half of the bay all assembled, and then our driver next to that. And here is our actual parts listing. So we get a chip, so very similar to the GT series chip, but with a couple of rather important differences, and we'll go over that once we have a closer look at our parts. But our chip's name is Helios, and then we move down to what is now called a ring. So there is no longer layers, instead they're called rings. So we've got the King ring, so with those two together we get King Helios. And now another new part, which is called a chassis. So there are two different styles of chassis. There are double chassis and single chassis. This one will be a double, and it's 1B, so one balance, so an in between of defense and attacking. And our single chassis can have a disc added to them, where our double chassis have the disc inbuilt and they cannot be removed. And then down to a part that has stayed the same throughout all of our Beyblade Burst series. So we've got our driver, and it's called Zone. So that's going to be interesting to have a look at the difference between this one and our Super Hyperion driver. I think that's pretty much it for our packaging. So let's get stuck into opening him up and have a proper close-up look at all those parts. Okay, well, everything is now out on the table, and I actually really like unboxing these sparking bays because they're very similar to the Cho-Z series, so it doesn't take much effort to get everything out of its packaging, whereas the GT ones, there was a lot of individual packets that you had to open up. So yeah, I think simpler is best when it comes to opening these guys. And it just films better. Alright, well, it looks like we've got some stickers to stick on, so I'm going to go away and get that done first before we go any further. Alright, that is all of our stickers finally on, and let's begin things with having a look at our chip and ring setup. So here we have it, our chip and ring combo, King Helios, and this is actually a left rotating ring, so the opposite of Super Hyperion, which is a right rotating bay. And we're going to quickly discuss what style of ring that we get with this guy. So it looks like it is a bounced style of ring to match in with our 1B bounced chassis there. And you can sort of tell this because we do get a nice round shape to him, and we have these deflecting points around the outside, but as well as that we've got some attacking points thrown in there. So best of both worlds with this bay. And next up we're going to have a look at this whole chip thing that they've got going on. Okay, we've got our Helios chip removed from that ring, and I'll quickly show you how I did that. These chips are attached to these rings by these feet here they've got on the outsides, and they slot into these gaps here. So you can see the larger side of the gap there. You just put him in and give him a little twist, so that locks him back in, and to remove him you just do the opposite. So give him a twist to the right there. So with the left rotating ring you will give it a twist to the right, so the opposite direction that it spins. And then in the case of Super Hyperion you would twist it to the left because it's a right rotating ring. Alright, so back to our chip, and these come with another little part which can be removed. So these middle sections here of the chip can come out, and the way we go about that is you get these little edges of them and give them a bit of a push, and he pops out pretty easily. But then to separate it from the chip itself, you give him a small twist upwards, and then out he comes. And these actually come in different styles. So I've got my other one which came with my random booster volume 19 as a bit of a promo sort of thing, and there are some pretty big differences between the two. So if we get a bit of a side-on view there, you can see that our Helios core here is quite a bit thicker, so that should make a slight difference to the weight that we get from it. And I'm expecting them to come out with quite a few different styles of these, and hopefully maybe a metal version or a metal incorporated version, not unlike the God series of bays, which had a chip in the center of those you could remove and replace with a couple of different styles of metal incorporated ones to change their weight value. And I will get him back on now, and that's a rather simple process as well. So bring him down sideways and twist him in just like we removed him, line those gaps back up and push, and you'll hear that click, and he's back on. So that's it for our chip. Oh, sorry, it's actually not. So probably something you did notice while I was going over this is we do not get any teeth on these chips. So whereas with a GT series, this is where you would have found the teeth for the bay. Those have been moved to a different location, and we will go over that in a minute. I'm going to get this guy back on, and next up is our chassis. And 1B is that chassis, as I mentioned previously, a bounced chassis, and just like our ring, you can see it has attacking and deflecting points on it, and these are pretty much what is considered to be the heart of these new bays, because they hold the majority of functioning parts now, and they're actually quite thick and have a good amount of weight to them. And this is the double chassis, so you notice that disc on the inside there, and that can't be removed at all, so that's why it's the double chassis. And it's got an indicator here, which I actually didn't mention before when doing my Super Hyperion unboxing, but they do have a rotating indicator. So this has LR stamped on it, so this can actually be used on left and right rotating bays, where Super Hyperion just had an R stamp there, so only for right rotating bays. And then we've got the 1B stamp there to let you know the name of it, and here is where you will find our teeth. So they've moved them from the whole top half of the bay, and now they're on these chassis. So yeah, that's definitely an interesting change. I actually think that it's quite clever. You know, they've definitely put a lot of thought into the way they're doing these new bays, and yeah, I'm all for the change. Looking forward to seeing some different styles that they come out with these guys. All right. Another thing to mention too is with this chassis and ring setup, we actually do get a mode change, and I'm going to show you that once I'm done with our driver and we piece everything together. So yeah, look out for that. And with our driver we get a new type which is called Zone, and it's actually quite tall compared to most drivers. It has pretty much the exact same design as the one we got with Super Hyperion, which was called Exceed, only with one slight difference, that being that Exceed had a flat rubber tip, and with this one we get a sharp plastic tip. Both had a rotating ring surrounding that tip, and with Exceed that definitely helps out with its lastability, because it does run out of stamina faster than most, but with this one, as well as doing that, yeah, I'm sure it will provide a bit of grip on the stadium, so giving this this driver not only a good amount of stamina, but probably some form of attack as well. And we're going to piece everything together now, and I'll show you that mode change that this bay comes with. Alright, so we've got our chip and ring and our chassis, and I'll show you how these guys go together. So you'll notice on the ring we've got these two plastic bits sticking out on the inside, and you take your chassis and you'll see we've got two gaps there on that. So you line those guys up like so and push down, and you'll hear a nice little satisfying click there, indicating that the two are joined together. And to get them apart, you just simply give it a little pull. There we go. Comes apart. So the mode change that I mentioned that we get with this is a matter of just rotating our chip and ring setup the opposite direction and joining it together. So when it's like this, our chassis lines up with this blade here. So both of these two blades are lined up with each other, and then you pull them apart and spin this top bit around and join it back together, and now these two blades are lined up, giving it more attack. So with the other mode it would have more defense, I'd say, and this would be the attacking mode. Alright, let's get this driver on and we'll have a listen to how good those clicks actually are. Place him in, and there we go, and well, they're really quite strong. Wow, geez, that took a bit of force. Well, that would be there we are. That's a bit better. I was just having trouble then getting it to twist, but there we are. Some pretty solid clicks with this. Probably due to design, they feel stronger than Super Hyperion, but the teeth looked exactly the same. So there's probably some sort of design difference there that's making it feel stronger, but I think both of them have the exact same amount of strength to their clicks. Okay, well let's get our stadium out and do a test launch, and I'm going to throw in a little one round battle as well. Okay, stadium is ready, and without delay, 3, 2, 1, go shoot. There we are, and as I mentioned before, it looks like that ring does find a little amount of grip, and then settling down into a good amount of stamina. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes on an angle launch. That was just a nice flat one then. So I'm going to give that a go in a little one round battle that I'm about to do. So that is it for our test launch, and let's see how this goes up against another bay. And of course, for our battle we are going to be using the bay featured in the image on the back of our packaging, Erase Diabolos, and we're going to see if we can burst it just like in the picture. And I'm going to be using attack mode on King Helios, and I'm going to give him a bit of an angle launch as well. So here we go. Good impact, and wow, knocked him right out of our stadium. He didn't burst in the arena, but he did burst on the outside. As you can see, there's his Vanguard disc and bullet driver, which actually did not separate, amazingly. And that will be it from me for this unboxing. I hope you liked the video, and until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.